There are legends round here, even if only in their own minds. Forgotten, but not dead. Some have tried to stop them, but they keep coming back. Coming to entertain you. They are the Crystal Lake Soldiers.
Welcome back to the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. We are on episode 19 now. My name's Isaiah. I'm joined tonight by Mark. How are you doing this weekend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm trying to get into the holiday spirit a little bit, but trying to keep it spooky, you know, like the way we like it.
Yep. I'm 100% there with you. We've been getting snow, and we're supposed to get hit hard tomorrow, so that's going to make it really feel like, you know, winter, Christmas time. But I've been trying to keep up on watching some different movies and stuff, because so far, and for those of you joining us that didn't listen last week, tonight we're actually going to be reviewing and talking about two Christmas horror movies. First one being Silent Night, Deadly Night, and the second one being Christmas Evil, both from the 80s, both revolving around Santa Claus serial killers. So be excited for that. So for sure, I've watched those two movies. Actually, there was one I found on Shudder that actually is pretty good. Kind of along the same lines of a serial killer Santa Claus. It's actually a French movie. And it's actually like, it's Home Alone before Home Alone was Home Alone, if that makes sense. Because this actually came out a year before Home Alone. But basically, you've got this kid and his grandfather at home. They're, you know, fairly wealthy family because their mother runs a company and whatnot. And obviously it's Christmas time. And so the mother goes to work, and they're having this big, you know, holiday celebration thing going on. So her son and the grandfather stay home, and it's going to be a late night. She's not going to be, because they have to do all this paperwork and everything afterwards. So this guy is kind of a creeper, you know, when it comes to children. And he actually gets this part-time job being a Santa for this celebration. But he ends up scaring one of the kids and, like, slapping this little girl. And the mother sees him doing this, and the mother of the child at home with his grandfather. And she fires him right on the spot. And, you know, you can already tell that he's, like, not all there mentally. So she tells him to go to the HR department or whatever the fuck it was called in the movie, and to, you know, for them to basically fire him, basically. So he goes there, and her boyfriend's on the phone talking about a delivery to go to their house for gifts for her son. And so the guy that is, you know, the Santa, this deranged Santa, you know, hears that, and so he decides to go take that load of gifts and go to the house, and fucking just shit hits the fan. He starts killing people, you know, kills the groundskeepers for, you know, this. It's almost like a compound or a castle. It's fucking huge. But he kills the groundskeepers, and then starts terrorizing the grandfather and her son basically throughout the night. And he starts setting traps. I mean, he loves Rambo #1, and that's made clear in the opening and whatnot. And so he's got
Who doesn't?
Exactly. So he's got all these traps and everything, and he sets them for the Santa Claus, and it's brutal. It's a fucking great movie if you can handle subtitles, which I know subtitles are hard, because subtitles are very hard for me.
I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah. So it's on Shudder. I highly recommend it, especially if you like Home Alone, because it's kind of a weird movie, but it's a foreign film, so I mean, you got to keep that in mind. So it's not going to be like, you know, regular U.S. cinema. So, but it's really good, and I think that's one I'm going to have to work into my rotation, especially around Christmas time. But yeah, it's called what was the name of it? Deadly Games. Deadly Games is the name of it.
Deadly Games. Okay, I'm gonna look for that.
So it's definitely on Shudder right now. It's also because like Alamo Drafthouse is doing showings of it during the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
And the original name of it, and I'm trying to find it because I know that they're trying to pass it off with the original name, for their showings and whatnot for anybody listening. So if you're looking for a showing of that for Alamo Drafthouse, it was originally called Dial Code Santa Claus. So that was the original name translated from the French title. So
okay.
Highly recommend it. It's very, 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 very good. I love it. It's great. Definitely well worth the watch, even just for its weirdness. It's very weird. It's very good. So, but that's kind of what I've been watching so far, and there's obviously going to be more I need to watch because I need to rewatch Black Christmas again. I'm probably going to end up rewatching Christmas Evil once I get my package from Vinegar Syndrome for the Black Friday sale that they had.
Oh, nice. I didn't pick anything up for Black Friday.
Yeah, the movies were pretty much all I got. Me and my wife got a 4K Blu-ray player because I've been wanting one because I'm tired of using my PlayStation because my PlayStation's starting to run loud for the disc drive now, so I'm just thinking it's might be on its way out for that. So I figured it was about time. So we picked up a cheap 4K Blu-ray player. So I'm excited to break out, especially the 4K Blu-rays, to finally use my 4K TV properly. So
I need to get one myself.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple new ones where I decided to watch a few really budget, cheesy B Christmas movies, anything we find on Amazon.
Okay.
And I watched one was called All Through the House. It was really cheesy, but it was like the good kind of cheese, kept you laughing and entertained the whole time, and the effects were not bad. It was about this young boy named Jamie. It's like similar to the idea or the premise of Sleepaway Camp.
Okay.
He was a boy. Mom wanted a girl. Dad. So basically, Dad ended up knocking up his mom and the neighbor.
Oh, wow.
And the neighbor had a girl, and she had a boy, and she was psychotic and jealous about it. Ended up, snipping the penis off the boy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so then he he goes crazy, he goes to the mental hospital, comes back for his mother, kind of sort of like blood rage.
Yep.
And turns out he's this serial killer Santa running around. He's got a knack for cutting dicks off.
Oh my god, that's good.
Crap.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. It was called All Through the House. It was really super heavy on the cheese, but it was funny. And then the other one I watched was called was it Christmas Bells, I think?
Okay.
Belles. I thought it's either Christmas Bells or I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And it's basically about a group of thoughts that team up with Santa Claus to take down Krampus.
Oh my god, that's great.
It was hilarious. I loved it. It was
Jesus.
Super fucking dumb, but I loved it.
That's awesome. Yes.
But I didn't watch Silent Night, Deadly Night again. I pretty much have that movie in my head at all because I watch it every year.
Yep. That's a classic.
But I didn't watch Christmas Evil, and I've never seen it. I wasn't adamant or on my movies enough to watch it, so I've been a bad podcaster. I'm sorry.
Naughty boy. Santa's declaring you naughty. Just like in
Krampus
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Beat me with sticks.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that because it's definitely one you should check out. And we'll get into why because it's fucking trippy. It's a great movie, but we'll get to that here shortly. So, but yeah, for other movies, I'm kind of waiting to check out here. for the season, because obviously New Year's is coming up, and New Year's Evil, that's always top priority for watching.
Yeah.
And because I know, like, last year we did that watch party for it, and I think that'd be a good one to do again. Actually, that might not be a bad idea for maybe even streaming, like a commentary kind of thing. Maybe we can kind of chalkboard that for maybe a discussion.
Yeah,
but
put a pin in that.
But that could possibly be fun. Kind of watching that and just commentary on that. So we'll see. It was just kind of an idea I was throwing out in my head this week. That could be possibly fun, because that's a great fun movie, especially for New Year's, you know. But beyond that, a couple other movies I still got to watch this season is there's Anna and the Apocalypse. 'Cause me and my wife wanted to see that last year when it came out. It's like a zombie musical set during Christmas. So that's on Hulu, I believe. So I'm thinking we'll probably watch that. And I do want to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 and 3, because I have both of those. I don't have 4 or 5. Actually, I do have 5 saved on my DVR for DirecTV, but I didn't really care for that one as much. That was actually a little bit of trivia. Part 5, The Toy Maker, or whatever it's called, was actually the first Silent Night, Deadly Night movie I actually saw. So I saw that even before the good ones. But
oh man, the first one was the first one I watched.
Yeah.
I remember being real young, going through the movie rental store with my brother, and we were just always looking for something that looked like we weren't supposed to be watching it.
Oh, this is definitely one of those movies, that's for sure.
And we saw Silent Night, Deadly Night, and we rented it, and we watched it, and it was so freaking good. And we went back, and they had the second one. It was like, no way, there's 2 of these?
Yep.
We watched it, and it was so good. I don't remember watching any more until after I was already an adult. But
yeah,
I remember those very vividly. There's a reason this movie is on my every year for Christmas.
Oh yeah, definitely. I probably guess. We'll get to that though, because it's a good movie. Good movie. We'll just leave it at that. But
yes.
So those are kind of the ones, and then like a non-Christmas one, just kind of a side thought. Another one I like to watch around Christmas time is Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes.
So I loved that as a kid.
Anything Ernest, man.
Yes.
I'm always there for Ernest.
Definitely. Jim Varney was a comic genius, and that character was... You can't replicate something like that.
You know what I mean, Vern?
Know what I mean, Vern? It's great. That's a great movie, too. I love that one. I've always... That was like one of the main Christmas movies that I've watched constantly throughout the years since I was a kid. Even more than Home Alone, because I love Home Alone.
For me, it's Home Alone. Yeah, most definitely Home Alone. I already watched Home Alone 1 and 2 this year.
Yep.
But for me, my biggest, longest running Christmas tradition movie would be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes, that's another one. I forgot about that. Actually, that's actually shown in the theaters right now, so I may end up going to the theater to see that for once.
Nice.
Because I know AMC is doing, I think through this week, they're doing like $5 showings of it. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because I haven't been, that's one movie I haven't been able to see in the theater yet, you know. So I would love to.
I've missed a lot. I just found that new theater that I told you guys about a few weeks ago. That place is awesome. They do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have to look and see if they're doing anything for Christmas. And our local Regal Theater does throwback cinema.
Yep.
Like every Saturday they'll do one retro movie, but it's on Saturday and it's always at the time that I'm busy, so I never get to go.
Right.
They played the Gremlins last weekend, and I was freaking butthurt as hell I didn't get to watch that in theaters.
I can imagine. Yeah. That would be another good one to be able to watch in theaters. There's so many movies, because now you brought up Gremlins, and I forgot about Gremlins.
Die Hard.
Die Hard is a must. I hadn't gotten
It's
that
a Christmas movie. I hear you screaming. Shut up.
It is not Christmas time until Hans Gruber falls from Nakatomi Plaza. I don't care what anybody says.
Damn right.
It is a Christmas movie. I will fight you to the death on that. So don't cross me. Don't at me, because it is a fucking Christmas movie. That's my rant. That's my rant for the week.
End rant.
End. But we got a good show for you. We'll come back here to talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Christmas Evil in a moment. Just to kind of go over a little bit of news, because there isn't a whole lot for this week. News has been kind of like pretty scarce for the week, but that's all right. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about with these movies anyway, so it'll be good to get through some of this news here fairly quickly. To kind of start things off here, there was another death. Character actor by the name of Claude Earl Jones passed away actually late in November. Dude was 86 years old, but he was notable because he was in Bride of Reanimator. He was the lieutenant in that who was trying to, find out what Herbert West and they were doing and whatnot. So that was that was one that he was pretty well known for, but he was been in a lot of stuff. I mean, stuff like Kojak, Police Story, Battlestar Galactica, not Battlescar, Different Strokes, Greatest American Hero, T.J. Hooker, so on and so forth. I mean, he's been around the block.
He's got one of those faces where you just recognize him instantly. Like, that's that guy. I don't know his name, but he's from that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Bride of Reanimator, I loved it, and his role was great because the entire movie he's like the only one that didn't buy their bullshit.
Right. He knew all along.
Yeah, he's like, these guys are fucking weird, and they're doing something super fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. And then when he gets killed and then brought back, and then it just shit goes way wrong from there.
Oh, yeah.
Reanimator movies are some of my favorites. I love Reanimator so much. But sad loss, but I mean, dude had a long life. I mean, he had a long, good career. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So rest in peace,
Yes, rest in peace.
Thoughts and prayers to his family and whatnot. But it's sad. But there's such a catalog of, his work and whatnot. So there's plenty to be able to see of his. But so on that sad note, moving into some very exciting news. Now, we are recording this on Sunday night. So this just to kind of keep that in December 8th. So this past week, a bunch of information regarding the new Ghostbusters movie came out. So we did get the confirmation of the title of the new Ghostbusters movie, which is now titled Ghostbusters Afterlife. They actually released a synopsis now for this as well, because it's been kind of unknown what the actual story is about. But now the synopsis for this is when a single mom and her two kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. So the question begs is, who's the grandfather? I have a hunch, and a lot of people have the hunch that it's probably a way to pay tribute to Harold Ramis, because obviously he did pass away a number of years ago.
I have the same feeling. I mean, if not, it feels like that'd be a missed opportunity.
Right. And so I really believe it's probably him as being the grandfather, because, they move into the grandfather's farm and whatnot. And that's where Finn Wolfhard ends up finding the Ecto-1 in the barn and everything. And I guess the daughter of the single mother actually finds a PKE meter, so that's kind of how it all starts, where they find each of those things. They did release some shots behind the scenes shots from the movie. So in one of them, you have Paul Rudd holding one of the ghost traps. And Paul Rudd actually plays a teacher in this, I guess, from what I was hearing. So I'm guessing he's obviously probably the teacher of these two kids, or, at least in the school. And, so you have that picture. You have the picture of the Ecto-1 actually driving through a cornfield and, like, whipping shitties in a cornfield or something. It was kind of a cool picture. And that's actually what they went with for the poster, too, is the Ecto-1 driving through the cornfield or the wheat field or whatever the fuck it was. The other big piece of information regarding this, and the reason why I brought up that we are recording this on Sunday night, is tomorrow on December 9th, they are releasing the first official trailer for this movie, which is very, very exciting.
Yes. Oh, man, this is the Ghostbusters movie we need. I'm so excited for it.
I agree 100%. I mean, it's coming at the perfect time. I mean, nostalgia factor is going to be up the wazoo with this. I mean, you got all this.
Do you think that they could possibly get Rick Moranis as like a cameo role for this? Because that would be awesome.
I mean,
that would be so good if they could bring him back from retirement just for this movie.
I think it would be great if he would. I don't think he will. I'm holding out hope, though.
Yeah.
Because I know he had mentioned that there's nothing really to go back to regarding that story for him. But I'm hoping maybe they were able to talk him into it, and it's being kept a surprise.
He was my favorite character of the movie.
Yes. Louis Tully was my favorite character, too.
Because he was this super uber freaking dork, but he was so self-aware about it, and he didn't let it stop him. He was super charismatic. He was always having these parties.
Exactly.
He was always going around making sure everybody was having a great time, and, he was like showing that you can be this super freaking dork, and you don't have to be this sweaty, smelly nerd that stays in with his mother all the fucking time.
Right. Definitely. So there's a lot to be excited about here with this, because, I mean, all the new information coming out, and finally going to get a trailer. You get to see what the movie's going to kind of look like. I mean, even if it's just a short glimpse, it's at least something. Because, I mean, July's going to come quick. I mean, we're 7.5 months away from this being released.
Oh, man. 2019 went so fucking fast, man.
Yeah. It definitely has. And I'm sure 2020 is just going to go twice as quick. It's going to be ridiculous. Because before you know it, it's going to be fucking Halloween again, and we're going to be talking about Halloween Kills and getting ready to see that. So,
yeah.
And yeah, I'm super stoked for this. I mean, there's so many good movies coming out this next year. I mean, if just looking at just a handful, because I mean, you've got The Invisible Man, you've got Halloween Kills, you've got the new Saw movie. I mean, even non-horror, you're talking Bill and Ted Face the Music is coming out, this coming up summer. I mean, there's so much to look forward to. I mean, the new Bond movie. I mean, there's just so much content and movies coming out this next year. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see anything Child's Play next year.
That would be great.
Anything from like the Curse / Cult of Chucky timeline would be great.
Oh, I agree. I'm hoping that either the TV show's coming out here, because I know we talked a little bit about that in the last few weeks. Kind of get that going so we can get some more movies going. Because I know Don Mancini wants to do the TV show and work that into movies after that. So
yeah,
I'm hoping. Because like we said, Brad Dourif ain't getting any younger.
No, and then we got the possibility. I don't think if it happens, it's definitely not going to happen next year. I don't think. But then we got the Nightmare on Elm Street might be getting a reboot, remake, new sequel, question mark, we don't know.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot. And then, I know we hate talking about it, but, Friday the 13th, that shit's supposed to be wrapped up in May. Hopefully, May or June, it's supposed to be done.
God. I freaking hope so, man. And at this point, I don't care who gets it. Just let just to settle it, and then let somebody pay you the money that you think you deserve, so they could buy the license and make a fucking movie or something.
Yep.
Give it to one of these filmmakers that are doing these super low budget fan films that obviously have a passion for this franchise.
Like Vincent DeSanti or something like that.
Exactly who I'm talking about. Yes. Give him, or I mean, at least somebody like him. Somebody that actually gives a fuck. Somebody that's a fan. Let them do something with this.
Yep. I agree.
mean, personally, I like the remake, but it was... Michael Bay wasn't like this huge Friday fan, and it was kind of obvious because he changed about some really key shit that some people can't look past.
Didn't he fucking walk out of the premiere too? Or something? I think he did.
I think so, yeah.
But
yeah.
Who fucking cares? That's Michael Bay. Who fucking cares about him?
Yeah. Yeah, give it to somebody that has a passion, like the Vincent DeSantis of the world.
Yep.
You know, the guy that has this raw talent to make an amazing movie out of literally no budget.
I agree 100%. Give it to somebody that's gonna do some good for once, you know.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you got studio money and all that bullshit, but once you start getting all these big ass studios involved and whatnot, and I'm sure it's probably gonna still go through New Line no matter what they do, because New Line, that's New Line or Warner Brothers or AT&T now. So
yeah.
But
soon to be Disney.
Oh god, I don't even want to think about something like that. I don't know if I could work for Disney.
Disney's going to own our entire lives.
I don't know if I could ever work for Disney. Yeah, it's
maybe for Pixar. That's probably about it.
Yeah. Pixar's good. I like Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on with Ghostbusters. Another little bit of tidbit of information regarding movies is The Conjuring, because the new Conjuring movie actually is coming out this next year, actually, in September. So that's actually due to be out September 11th of 2020. We finally have a title for the new Conjuring movie. So I don't really care for the title. I'm interested to see what it's going to end up happening with it. But it's called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
The title's dumb as hell.
It
for
really
a Conjuring
is.
Movie. I mean, the Conjuring movies, their titles are like one word or two or something really simple, like The Nun or Annabelle.
Exactly.
Personally, myself, I have been very long removed from the Conjuring universe. I've only seen the first two original main titles and the first Annabelle movie, and that movie was garbage.
It was. If you're out there,
I didn't watch the other ones.
Yeah, if you're out there, skip the first Annabelle movie and just go straight to Annabelle Creation, because that's...
Yeah, I still need to watch it. I wasn't sold on it until I heard your opinions, and I just haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
Yeah,
I definitely didn't go see it in theaters.
I did, but we actually got to... Was it that one we got to see for free? I think maybe no. We got to see the newest one for free, which that one was okay. I still think it was better than the first one, but definitely Annabelle Creation. If you're gonna see any of them, see that one because that one's pretty damn good. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, I agree because Conjuring universe has been kind of hit and miss with all of their movies,
they're just jumping all over the place with spin-offs, and it's like that's not how this movie series started,
right?
So I don't know how I would personally. I heard bad things, and I personally thought that The Nun looked stupid as hell, so I never watched it.
It had potential.
But I'm not into you know how I feel about I'm not into paranormal horror movies, so.
Right.
Like The Conjuring 1, that was like the cream of the crop for paranormal movies in my mind, because that was a great movie.
Yeah, I agree. I love that one.
Yeah.
And that's a good example of a PG-13 movie, actually being scary.
Oh, yeah.
We won't get into that discussion again and how I feel about Black Christmas because I was trying to avoid it as much as possible.
Oh.
But once again, little side note. Don't go see Black Christmas on Friday the 13th. Instead, make sure to watch Joe Bob's Red Christmas special on Shudder. I will actually be watching and I will be live tweeting throughout the whole marathon. So feel free to join in. I'll start off using the hashtag CLS podcast and whatever else that they decide to use that day. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at CLS podcast, and I'll definitely be live tweeting throughout the night during that marathon. So I had fun actually doing that for the Halloween marathon. So, and it's the first time
I'd love to join you with it, but man, it's got to be my internet because I can never get the live Shudder to work ever.
Well, that's the thing, because I had that same issue, but they must have done something to fix something because I haven't had any issues with Shudder in the last probably 4 or 5 months at all.
Well, I didn't have any issues with Shudder before besides the original Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. Mm-hmm. But that was just such an overload of all these nostalgic fans coming in at the same time, running over their servers, just steamrolling the crap out of them. But after that, I didn't really have a whole lot of problems. But then I moved and I got much, much shittier internet, and I cannot get Shudder to work unless it's on Amazon.
Okay. I hear you. Yeah, that makes sense then. But
yeah.
Either way, even if nobody joins me, I'll be here by myself watching it and live tweeting. So feel free to join in. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun doing that again. It'll be my second time ever live tweeting. I feel so fucking old because I feel like the technology is so passing me by nowadays. I just feel
Twitter's
so
old now, man. They got all kinds of new shit now.
I know. My age is really starting to show. It feels like...
Yeah.
I'm like...
starting to feel it.
I'm like over that hill where I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30 now, so...
Oh, man. I saw a meme on Facebook a while back that the guy, people like screenshot tweets and use that as a meme.
Yep.
One guy posted on Twitter something to the effect that I just told a millennial that I used to get Netflix in the mail, and I'm pretty sure he thinks I was lying. I was like, man, I feel that.
Yeah. Oh, God, I remember. I had that at first,
on
too.
the PS3, before they even came out with apps, you could, when they first started streaming, you had to get a Netflix streaming disc.
Oh, wow. I remember that.
To run the app off of this disc to put into your PS3.
God, that's so old now. Even though it wasn't that long ago.
My age is showing, too.
Good God. All these young kids nowadays don't even know the struggle. That's all right, though. Age is going to happen. Just got to embrace it and move the fuck on.
The future is now, old man.
Thanks. Thanks for making me feel even worse about my age now. I am getting
that's
old.
That's what
though.
I'm here for.
My body definitely feels old, that's for sure.
Oh,
if nothing
fuck
else.
yes, man. Oh.
I tell you what, though, hitting the gym, though, has been helping a lot. A lot.
If anything else, it helps a lot with your mood, I think. It makes you a lot more positive, a lot more happy. For me, at least, just getting the endorphins going in my brain and knowing that I have a goal and I'm actively working towards it, it just makes my week and my day so much better.
I agree. I definitely agree, 100%.
Yeah.
It's definitely been helpful for me. I actually feel good after I work out, so it's been nice because I've also been trying to keep track of how many times I'm going to the gym. So I've been like checking in on Facebook every time I go, so I can see 6 months from now.
Sort of accountability kind of thing,
right? Because then I can look back and be like, hey, I went to the gym this many times in the last 6 months, or whatever the fuck it may end up being.
Yeah.
So, because my wife was like, why do you got to check in every time? I'm like, because I want to keep track. I want to know when I look back, a few months from now, that I went all these times, and to see where I'm going and where I've been and my progress.
And even if you're the kind of person, not you specifically, but anybody in general is the kind of person that you want to go to the gym and you want to show off to people that you're working out, fuck it, man. You're proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself. Don't care. Oh, Isaiah's at the gym again. Oh, rolling my eyes while I'm sitting on the fucking couch complaining about it. So just keep scrolling, man.
Right.
He's proud of himself. Just get over it.
Yeah. Definitely. Especially when you're trying to better yourself.
Oh yeah, and sometimes just I don't know, it's a little psychological for me. Sometimes when I get like an acknowledgement from somebody like, "Wow, you look really good. You lost a lot of weight." Man, that motivates me to keep going, because you don't know, I could be on the edge where I'm like, I'm about to fucking quit because I'm not seeing any results, and then someone's like, "Well, you're looking really good," and then that lifts me up. So something like that, it could be multifaceted more than just keeping track of it or something like that.
No, definitely. Yeah. Like it caught me off guard because I haven't felt like I've lost any weight, since I started 6 months ago or whatever it was. And it hasn't been a lot. But I'm sure a lot of it's building muscle too, because I'm lifting weights. It's not just like cardio and stuff like that. But because they weighed us when we got our lifetime membership, and because they did the whole orientation, walk you through everything, take your BMI and all that crap. And so I was surprised to find out that I actually lost 20 pounds, because I knew.
Hell yeah, congratulations, man.
Right. Yeah, it was good because up until that point, because for those that don't know, I was working with a personal trainer and ended up having to leave that because, let's just say, things didn't work out and we felt like we wasted money for 6 months. And for the most part we did. I mean, granted, I did end up losing 20 pounds, but at the same time, my goal was a lot higher than that, which, I mean, I'm over that now, but there's a lot of other factors that kind of played into me having to leave working with a personal trainer.
Yeah.
But just to know that I've lost something, it's more than what I can say from the last 3 or 4 years. I'm at least back down to, I'm actually a little bit less than what I was when I got married. So that's a plus.
Hell yeah.
I was still a little too big at that time. I mean, I say I was a little too big. I mean, it's not nearly as bad as how some people can get, and I'm not putting other people down because I've struggled with my whole life.
Absolutely not. We're not at like that at all in this podcast. I mean, you guys, different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
You do whatever you want.
But so I'm getting to that point where I'm getting closer to 300. So my first goal is 300. If I can get under 300, I'm good. So
once you hit it, man, you gotta set the next goal and keep going.
Exactly.
Because if you get complacent, you'll get caught in it. Just as happened to me millions of times.
Right.
Yeah.
So my goal weight is 220, because that was the lightest I've ever been. Because I'm taller, so I'm not expecting to get under 200. And so if I can get down to 220, that's ideal. So I'm about 100 pounds off from that. So
I've been dieting and working out for almost 2 years now, and I'm about, last time I weighed, I say about 20 pounds away from my Marine Corps weight. Okay. And that makes me feel really good, because that was way beyond my original goal. My original goal was to get down to 200, to 200 pounds from 260, and that was tough getting back into it, man. My body is not, I'm not fucking 20 years old anymore.
No. I wish. I really wish.
It's a long road to get here. I mean, I lost, in 2019, I lost over 50 pounds.
That's good.
Just from cutting out. All I did was cut out sugar, and I have a very physical job. I didn't start working out until a couple months ago, because I just wanted to shed shed fat and not build muscle until I
Right.
hit my goal. And now, man, I feel great.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Especially if you can do it before you hit 30. Because I know
I'm right there.
Right. Because I know I've mentioned it in the past, because once you hit 30, things just start breaking down. I don't know what it is. It's like a fucking ticking time bomb. It's like as soon as you hit 30, just shit starts going wrong. Like my back.
I got 6 months and I'll be 30.
Right. See, because like my back issues never. Like I've always had back issues, but like they didn't get bad until after I was 30. Like deliberate. Like
don't say that, man. I got bad back problems.
Well, as long as you're working your back out and keeping it strong, you should be fine. But like, oh my god, debilitating. You want to talk about, because like I've ended up in the emergency room twice since I turned 30 for my back. And
well, I've been in the hospital once for my back, but I was a lot younger than I am now.
Right.
But I've always had heavy lifting physical jobs because I'm a knucklehead and that's what I like to do.
Yeah. Yeah. But
it doesn't pay very good, but I like it.
Yeah, true. Very true. But like the back issues really started ramping up after I hit 30, and then also started getting arthritis in my hips, and my knees are they're getting better because they're getting stronger now, but my knees got pretty bad. Like my knees click when I walk, both my knees and my ankles.
Mine have done that, but I blame Uncle Sam for that.
Yeah.
And you come after me, Uncle Sam. I ain't scared.
I ain't scared. But yeah, that's all just to say, take care of your body, people. Don't get into
you only get one. Definitely take care of yourself. You know, you want to be around, watch your whoever's special to you.
Right.
Watch them live their life and experience it with them. At least that's my main goal, is I want to watch my nephews grow up and things like that, and enjoy a longevity of life.
Definitely. Because I don't feel like dying by the time I'm 40. Because honestly, I was well on my way to a fucking heart attack or something. So because once I hit 34, so about a year and a half ago, this is kind of like I started getting like extremely tired all the time and stuff, and that was when I was my heaviest. And
I'd say for me, I'd tie that directly into eating a bunch of sugar.
Oh yeah,
because that's what sugar does to you. It runs your body so much more strenuous than it can, and then you're just tired all the time.
Yeah,
and if you sit back and read the freaking nutritional facts, you realize these drinks that people are drinking like all day, every day, is nothing but sugar. I mean, one Mountain Dew has more sugar than a Twix bar.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
even like iced teas, people think iced teas are healthy. They're not. They have just as much sugar, as a lot of the pop and stuff. And that's why, like, for the most part, I've cut that shit out. Unless we're out to eat.
That's where you get your bulk of it. Is right. I've had the same issue going out to eat. Your bulk of it is going to be in your drinks, and that's mind-boggling to me. But
yeah, and that's
that. And for me, a big offender for me is freaking pasta sauce, because I fucking love it.
Actually, I gotta
spaghetti, all that shit.
I've made it once, but I've actually got a good recipe for pasta sauce that I got from one of my other workout regimens that didn't really work out. But the pasta sauce is really good, and it doesn't like. It's like you make it homemade, and it makes a lot of it so that you can use it for like a week or whatever. So I might have to look for that so I can give that to you, because that's a good way to be able to do pasta sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely not a lot of salt or sugar in it, but it tastes pretty damn good. But wow, we really got off topic here a little bit. That's
yeah.
all right,
it seems like when it's me and you, we turn into the fitness podcast.
Which there ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm
hey, you know what? We
expert,
like to mix it up here at the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. You never know what you're gonna get.
Right. We can have a whole outline and not hit anything quite right. But that's okay. This has been the Fitness Hour with the CLS podcast. But anyways, wow, we've been talking for a long time on this, but that's okay. God, we're almost at 50 minutes and haven't even hit our main topic yet.
Well, we were pretty far along before we started the fitness, because we went on about different Christmas movies and shit, and
you're right.
I'm sure editing will cut it down a little bit.
Well, maybe not, but
just we cut out this part.
Or maybe it'll make it in there. It'll be depending on how I feel. But no, it's good. I like the spontaneity sometimes, because it kind of helps keep things
break
interesting.
Up the monotony, man.
Exactly, because it's so easy to get into that. Just we do news, we do trailers, then we talk about the main topic. This is a nice break in between it all. I like this kind of stuff. It makes things interesting, and those that are listening might find it interesting too, because by no means are we fucking fitness experts, but it's stuff that's interesting.
Oh God, no.
So please keep that in mind. Disclaimer.
Nor do I want to be.
No, God, no.
That's a lot of freaking nutritional research.
Yeah. Nope. Definitely not.
Nope. I just research the shit that works for my body and not everyone else's.
Exactly.
So if it works for me and it didn't work for you, I'm sorry. I'm not an expert.
Right. Exactly. But yeah. Anyways, it's a good talk though. I mean, that's some good stuff, regarding fitness journeys and whatnot. Just to kind of quickly go over a couple of trailers for some stuff that's actually coming up. We won't spend a whole lot of time on this, so we can get to the bulk of what we're going to be talking about tonight. But coming up in January, so we'll kind of go in order of dates that they're going to be released. So on HBO is coming a new adaptation from Stephen King's work. It's actually going to be a 10-episode series, and it's called The Outsider. This actually looks really, really, really good. And
yeah, it did.
I know you mentioned earlier before we started recording about the whole crime drama, kind of thing is really interesting. And that's what really kind of dragged me in. And what's cool about this and what's really interesting is that Stephen King is actually calling this one of his best adaptations of his work. So that's cool, and that's got me very, very interested to be able to watch this.
Yeah, Stephen King's getting a lot of traction on film and TV lately, and it's so far it's all been great. So, and this looked really good. It had, I don't know the guy's name, I'll look it up real quick, but the guy from Bloodlines, I really loved his character in that show.
Yep. And
that was a good show. I never finished and watched the second season, but yeah, it was the same kind of thing, like kind of cop drama-y, and yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very exciting. So definitely check that out. That comes out January 12th, 2020. So that's coming up very, very quick, because December is going to be over before we know it. I mean, it's going by so quick already. Because we're already on December 8th, so we're almost a third of the way through the month, and it just feels like Thanksgiving was just here.
Ben Mendelsohn is his name.
That's right. Yep. So definitely look for that. That is once again going to be on HBO. Now, coming out through Shudder, because Shudder's been on a roll with getting different series and movies.
They've been killing it, man.
Oh, definitely.
They've just been pumping stuff out, but they've been funding all these foreign budget movies, or whatever you want to call them. Not exactly budget movies, but not exactly A-listers.
Exactly.
They've been, for the most part, more hit than miss, I would say.
I would agree 100%. 100% on this. So,
Oh yeah.
coming out January 23rd, 2020 is The Deadlands, and that's going to be exclusively through Shudder. And this one actually looks cool. I know I mentioned before we started recording about this one is that kind of reminded me a lot of like Apocalypto and whatnot. It's kind of got a cool looking aesthetic to it that I like, and it's interesting.
Yeah. The like, as far as like the filters on the camera and the lighting and the makeup and the way everything's done, it's really unique and Apocalypto-esque, and that in itself is what's drawing me to this movie, because I love different art styles and films and things like that.
Yep. 100%. So that's another good one to kind of look out for. These streaming services have been kind of on fire when it comes to this kind of stuff too. But between
Mandalorian,
yes, Disney Plus is a must-have for the Mandalorian. You got to get your Baby Yoda. Got to get your Baby Yoda in.
Yes.
But to kind of cap things off for upcoming stuff that we kind of watched trailers for this week is finally, after kind of a long period, the movie Hanukkah is being released. Now this is, it had a limited release this month, obviously because Hanukkah's coming up. But this is going to be released wide on Blu-ray and whatnot on February 11th, 2020. And this is like one of the first Hanukkah-themed horror movies. The other notable thing with this, I mean, there's a bunch of people in this movie, but it's notable because this is one of both Sid Haig's and Dick Miller's final movies.
That's enough to watch it.
Yes.
That's all you need to know to go watch this movie. You don't need, I mean, watch the trailer because it looks really freaking good.
Yeah.
But that's, for me, Sid Haig, I'm sold on it. Dick Miller, 100% sold on it. They're both legends, and this is kind of like a pinnacle point in their career because, unfortunately, they're both not with us anymore.
Yep.
And it might actually be Dick Miller's last movie. I don't think it was Sid Haig's.
It's one of his, for sure.
Yeah.
One of them. I don't think it's his last one, but it's definitely one of them.
Definitely, yeah. It's between that and maybe two other ones.
Yeah. But so that's exciting in itself. Dick Miller obviously is always great, and he brings back his Walter Paisley character one last time in this movie. So that's notable enough for me to be able to want to watch it, just to be able to see Walter Paisley just one more time. You know, just because he's had that character for so many years in so many different movies, you know, so many different situations. It's always great and an honor to be able to see him portray that character. And it's so quirky and stuff that it's just great that the character, I don't even know how many times that character's fucking died, but that character's been around for so long. It's amazing. And then on top of that, I mean, you've got a kind of an all-star horror cast, because I mean, you got Charles Fleischer, who he played the sleep doctor in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. You've also got Carolyn Williams, and then PJ Soles. I mean, you've got a bunch of people in this movie. It's going to be good. It's super cheesy looking, super B-movie-esque, but that's perfect.
But it's unique. I mean, how often... I can't think of a single Jewish-themed holiday, Hanukkah, anything like that horror movie. I can't think of any.
I can't think of one either, honestly. And there may be one, but I
obviously
can't think of one.
there. I'm willing to bet money there is, because if you can think it, it exists.
Right. Right. So definitely this out of the list of these movies for this week, this is the one I'm definitely looking forward to the most. Because I've been following this movie for about a year and a half or so, and I'm glad it's finally coming out. And I started following it after they had already like shot it and everything, you know. So they've been working on this for a long time. So it's something to definitely look forward to. I'm looking forward to it for Sid Haig and for Dick Miller specifically. So very, very excited. With that being said, we are going to move into tonight's discussion where we're going to be reviewing 2 more classic Christmas horror movies. First off, we're going to take a look at Silent Night, Deadly Night.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. You've made it through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Silent Night, Deadly Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night was released on November 9th, 1984. It was made on a budget of $1,065,000, and that's an estimate.
Oof, that's cheap.
It is really cheap. So this was directed by Charles E. Salier Jr. It starred Robert Brian Wilson, Gilmer McCormick, Tony Nero, and the lovely Linnea Quigley. The plot of this movie is little Billy witnesses his parents getting killed by Santa after being warned by a senile grandpa that Santa punishes those who are naughty. Now Billy is 18 and out of the orphanage, and he just became Santa himself. So, a couple little pieces of trivia regarding this movie before we start breaking down and discussing our thoughts and how we came about loving this movie. This movie actually opened the same weekend as A Nightmare on Elm Street, both released in 1984. And this movie actually briefly outgrossed Nightmare on Elm Street by about $161,000. Since it was playing in actually twice as many theaters. But that obviously fell by 45% in the second weekend. So at first they were actually doing better than Nightmare on Elm Street. On top of that, and this is the biggest reason why it dropped by like 45% in the second weekend, is the release of this film was picketed by angry parents who were not happy to see Santa Claus being depicted as an axe murderer. So... And this is despite the fact that both Tales from the Crypt from the 70s had done the exact same thing for their In All Through the House adaptation, the original one. And then also Christmas Evil, which we're reviewing later here. Both of those had done the same thing. I mean,
I'd have to say, I get it, not wanting your kids to see that crap.
Yep.
But just don't let them freaking see it. It's that simple.
Exactly.
They're your kids. Raise your children. Don't expect some fake motion picture association to coddle to what you want for your children. You can do that on your own without raising hell about it.
Exactly. But this was the 80s. They're picketing everything regarding horror movies, so it's not surprising.
It was right there on the cusp, right before the satanic panic of the 90s.
Yep, definitely. So just 2 more pieces of info regarding this movie that are good trivia. The film was originally known as Sleigh Ride throughout its production. TriStar actually decided to change the name to Silent Night, Deadly Night at the very last minute. So originally it was supposed to be known as Sleigh Ride. And then finally, many of the kill scenes were actually directed by editor Michael Spence because the director was actually very uncomfortable for handling the gore heavy parts of the movie. So that's really interesting because this movie is definitely gore heavy. And,
fuck yeah.
And yeah, so knowing that the director couldn't handle that and he was directing this movie is kind of funny. But yeah, overall this movie is great. Now what were you saying regarding because you were talking a little bit earlier with me about this movie and how you became to love it.
Oh yeah, well it was a lucky movie rental find. We were looking for something because we both love the cheesy horror movies, especially with extra gore and a lot of scary. It was scary to me. I loved it. And we just saw the Silent Night, Deadly Night and the box art, and it was just freaking Santa's arm coming out of the chimney with the bloody axe.
I love
and it was
that.
like, we gotta watch this fucking movie. That box art was brilliant.
Yes.
It was so simple, but it said everything. And it was, I was really young. I was really, really young. And I didn't really grasp the theme at the time of what was going on in this kid's life. And it was bad. That poor kid had such a rough time. It's no wonder he didn't snap sooner.
Oh my God, I know. First off, you're already upset because your grandfather was telling you that, Santa punishes those that are naughty. That's first off.
And that same night that happened,
Mm-hmm.
He's like hiding in a bush watching his parents get murdered. His mom's getting felt up and murdered.
Yep.
It was bad.
Then Santa, coming out and just saying, "Where are you, you little shit?" or whatever the fuck he said, and holding that bloody knife, and oh my God, that would be enough to traumatize anybody. Plus, Billy was so young at that point,
Oh yeah.
And such an impressionable mind like that, and he was already saying that he doesn't want to see Santa because of what his grandfather said. His grandfather just freaked the shit out of him because, for those that haven't seen the movie, it starts off with them going to see the grandfather. The grandfather's in a nursing home. He's basically almost comatose. And he's just sitting there. And then when the doctor takes them, the mother and father, away, they tell, their son, their 5-year-old son or whatever it is, to stay with grandpa while they go, deal with paperwork or whatever. The grandfather then turns to him and, starts talking about Santa and says basically that you should be afraid of Santa for the most part is
that
kind of what he was saying.
Scene scared the piss out of me. It's
Yes.
like this guy it was like a vegetable. Like it's like he almost didn't even breathe, and then the parents are gone and he just
snaps
springs to life like the damn puppet master puppet. Oh man. Yeah, that old man scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. So if it's good enough to scare the crap out of us, you can just imagine what that character is going through, being a 5-year-old child, and then to have the Santa pull a gun, shoot your dad in the fucking face, and then crash, and then pulls the mother out, starts ripping her clothes off and feeling her up.
Didn't he just come from like robbing a store?
Yes, he robbed the convenience store to steal some money and killed the...
Yeah, $31. Merry Christmas to me.
Oh my God. So it starts off with a bang. I mean, you want to talk about a fucked up kid? That's your fucked up kid. That's your killer for this movie. So then...
Oh, it keeps going. It gets more fucked up.
It does. Because then you fast forward, and then he's in the orphanage, which is a Catholic orphanage, and he draws, a picture of Santa being killed for his class, and the nun tells him to go see Mother Superior, and, that all happens, and he apologizes, yada, 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 but gets sent to his room and Mother Superior told him that he needs to stay there until she says he can come out. So the other nun felt bad for him, went in there to tell him to come outside and play with the other kids and whatnot. As he's going to leave, he hears 2 people having sex, because what would a horror movie be without some sex and some nudity? So he's watching through the peephole like a little perv, watching these 2 getting it on. Mother Superior shows up, starts whipping them, and tells him to go away, and then she comes outside and tells him that basically he needs to be punished, and so she ends up whipping him too. And so that's just even more traumatizing. Basically, Mother Superior just wants to get these thoughts out of his mind about Santa being evil and all this, because after that, she forces him to sit on Santa's lap, because they have a Santa that comes every year to the orphanage for the kids to give them gifts and whatnot. Forces him to sit on Santa's lap, and that fucking kid cold cocks Santa, knocks his ass on the ground. I thought that was the funniest thing.
Why would you think that's a good idea? Obviously, he's not over his anxiety yet. He still has a lot of shit to work through.
Yeah.
And you don't just throw kids into the deep end of their psyche like that.
No.
That's how you fuck people up.
Yep, exactly. So that is even more trauma. So, I mean, and then after that, after he gets whipped and everything, he's having nightmares, and oh no, he is having nightmares, and he goes to leave the room.
He has
to try
nightmares
to leave
through the whole movie. Yeah.
Yes. So this is like the first time he's having nightmares and whatnot, and obviously it's of the Santa Claus and all that. And he goes to leave the room. Mother Superior finds him trying to leave. She grabs him and ties him to the fucking bed to make him stay in his bed. I mean, this woman is just fucking abusing this kid, and this is obviously happening throughout this whole time, and so that happens. Then it jumps forward about 10 years, and Billy turns 18, basically.
It turns into a beefcake.
Yep. Hottie with a body.
He's like, I don't need no kid working in the stock room. And he sees him, he's like, yeah, you can work in the stock room.
And this gets to like my favorite part in this whole movie, because it's so like cliche, but it's so good. But you get the 80s montage with the song of him working.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. It's so good. I love it.
It's a staple, man, for a good any kind of 80s movie. If there's a montage in it, I'm going to smile.
Yep.
I don't care what they're doing.
Yeah. So you basically see Billy working throughout the months leading up to Christmas. Stocking shelves, all that stuff, having a good old time, enjoying the company of his coworkers as they're working. And it all kind of ends when Billy freaks out seeing Santa Claus, because they bring in a Santa because it's getting closer to Christmas.
And he's starting to like a girl too.
Yep, he's starting to like Pam.
That's got him all kinds of, because he's still got that idea of
being naughty,
liking girls and doing things like that is naughty, and then if you're naughty, you're going to die.
Yep. So that all happens, and flash forward to Christmas Eve. I believe it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's got to be Christmas Eve.
Yes, it is Christmas Eve.
They close up the store. They're finally free from the holiday season. They decide to have a party. And before this, actually,
you skipped a very important part.
I skipped one of the most important parts. So Billy freaks out seeing Santa. So Billy's kind of acting weird now because it's getting closer to Christmas and all that. Billy ends up actually having a fantasy of having sex with his coworker, Pam, and that's where you kind of learn that he has a thing for Pam. But in this fantasy that he's having, it turns into a nightmare because he ends up turning into Santa and stabbing Pam in his dream. And so and then so that happens where he ends up stabbing Pam in the dream and whatnot. And so flash forward just a little bit here, and he basically the Santa Claus that they had ended up getting hurt, and so they need a Santa. And who better to play Santa than the fucking kid that's just all fucked up from Santa Claus and Billy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta have dumb shit like this to happen, or there's no fucking movie.
Exactly. Makes no sense, but it moves the story along. So,
yes,
Billy ends up being Santa, and everybody thinks he's being so good with the kids, and even though he's like, don't be naughty, you know what happens if you're naughty, and the kids are just scared of him. Like, they're so well behaved with him.
Like, they're just sitting there, they're petrified. They're not well behaved.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. That's so classic. And then he gives her a candy cane and she just runs off. Just all scared and petrified. It's perfect. So kind of missed that part, but that's kind of a big part. So that's where it goes into Christmas Eve, and then they close up and they have their party and everything. And Billy's still in the Santa outfit, and he seems like he's okay right now.
The store owner's drunk as shit.
Yes.
Been drinking the whole party, the whole time the store was open. He's been drinking all fucking day.
Yep.
But it's the holidays. Why not? That's how we celebrate, right? Let's all get wasted.
Yep, exactly. So the party goes on, and then so Pam and the guy that likes, so there's another guy who actually kind of treats Billy like shit. He kind of helps. He's almost like a manager or something, or like a supervisor, something to that effect. I think he's
a brown noser,
basically. So he's kind of shitting on Billy the whole time that he's working there, and basically thinks Billy's weird, which obviously he is. He's got some mental issues.
He absolutely is, but that's not his problem. The problem with Billy is Billy's better at the job than he is.
Exactly. So this guy, he's kind of a creep. He's got this mistletoe, and he likes Pam too, and Pam kind of likes him. So they go off into the back stock room, and Billy sees this happening, and he wants to follow, and he's having flashbacks and all that. So he's slowly starting to devolve here at this point, and becoming crazy again. And so he follows into the back, and basically what's going on is Pam's being sexually assaulted. No other way to put it. I mean, this guy's forcing himself onto her, and that's enough to cause Billy to fucking just lose his shit completely.
Full-on psychotic break, man.
Yep.
He's gone.
Exactly. Fucking dude grabs us strands of Christmas lights, wrap it around the guy's neck, and just lifts him off the fucking ground like superhuman strength. It's intense.
Billy's got some fucking muscles. He is strong, and you will see him again throughout the movie.
Yes. So that's great, and oh my god, and then she's freaking out like, you're a psycho, yada yada yada. So now all of a sudden the girl that he likes is basically calling him a psychopath and all this, so she fucking gets it too then. And it just kind of goes from there, because then Mr. Sims, the owner of Ira's
favorite part of the movie. Well, my favorite line of the movie, not the favorite part.
Yep.
You know what Santa Claus is supposed to do on Christmas Eve, right? Well, you better get to work. He's like, oh shit, he's right. I got a lot of shit to do.
Oh, it's so good. So Mr. Sims ends up going into the back stock room to investigate what happened. Dude gets a hammer in the fucking head. The claw of the hammer right in the fucking head.
Well, he was going back to get frisky with the other lady, or he's going to try to.
No, he because he had heard something. He said he would be right back, because he went in back to find out what was going on. And
oh yeah, that's right.
And then he was all, because he's drunk, he's all like having fun, thinking they're goofing off back there or whatnot, not realizing that they're fucking dead now. And so he gets the claw of the hammer in his fucking head, and then the other lady that was up front, drunk too, is like, what's going on? And then the fucking lights go out, and the Christmas lights and all that are on. She's like, oh, Mr. Sims, you should see this, it looks so great, or whatever the fuck the case may be. And then Billy grabs the axe, and then shit goes south from there. I mean, because Billy shows up, tries obviously to kill her and whatnot, and there's a kind of a chase throughout the store. He cuts the line for the phone as she's trying to call the cops, and she goes into hiding, goes in the back stock room, sees Mr. Sims dead and all that, and she grabs the axe and tries to get away, and she's gonna go through the door, but the door's locked because Mr. Sims locked it after the store closed up. She can't get through there. She's gonna bust the fucking window open, and Billy shoots her with a fucking arrow through the fucking chest, and it's great. I mean,
yes,
and then she just dies there, and then Billy obviously fucking leaves. And then because the sister that got him the job working there at Ira's Toys ends up getting a phone call about Billy having to be Santa Claus basically, and that just triggers something, and they're like, oh shit, something's gonna go wrong. She shows up at the fucking toy store, and Billy's long gone at that point, and she sees the carnage.
She's like the Loomis. She's like, that was like the dumbest thing you could ever fucking done. What the hell's wrong with you? But I guess no one knew. No one was. They just pulled him from the orphanage. Didn't have anybody watching him or anything.
Nope.
No one at the store knew that Christmas was a trigger for him, and he definitely didn't tell anybody because he was trying to act normal. He wanted to fit in.
Yep, exactly. And
it's
so
just a recipe for disaster.
Oh, 100%, definitely. So things kind of go from there because he ends up leaving there after all that. So you end up coming to Tommy and Denise making out on the fucking pool table. Now Tommy is actually played by Leo Getter. Leo Getter, actually, another little piece of trivia, is actually Barry Sims in Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. I didn't realize that until I watched it last time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you put a fucking mustache on it, it's plain clear as day that it's fucking Barry Sims. But
I can see it, yeah.
So that was interesting because I realized it as I was watching. I'm like, I recognize him from somewhere, and sure enough, I looked it up, and good old Barry Sims. So you got Leo Getter as Tommy, and obviously Linnea Quigley as Denise making out. Of course, it wouldn't be a movie with Linnea Quigley if she didn't get topless. So
she was a little bit more than topless.
Still. So they're making out. The child that she's babysitting wants to come downstairs, but she's, Denise makes up a whole thing about them doing homework and telling her to go to bed, otherwise Santa's gonna think she's naughty and all that.
Yeah, she was exploiting the whole Santa will bring you Christmas presents if you're good.
Yep. Just
so she could stay downstairs and get her freak on because teenagers are horny as crap.
Right. Exactly. So that happens, and then you have the cat who's outside, and Denise goes up to let the cat back inside, and that's when Billy shows up. Punish!
Favorite kill of the whole movie.
Yes. He throws that fucking axe, hits the wall, and then, oh my god, the impalement on those antlers.
You just picks her up and right onto the deer antlers.
And it's slow, too. So you just see that skin just tear. Oh my god, it's such a great kill.
Oh man, the practical effects were amazing.
I agree. They spent some good money on those effects because it was top tier fucking practical effects for the 80s. It was great. So that happens, and then Tommy, ends up coming upstairs, finding Denise and whatnot, and then they scuffle, and he gets it. He gets fucking just killed too.
Yeah. Billy's got some guns. All right, you ain't gonna out wrestle him.
Yeah, you wouldn't think a fucking throw like that would kill a guy, but then when you see him afterwards, where he's got the shards of glass in his abdomen, but also in his fucking face.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, that's how he died. He didn't die from the fucking fall from the fucking second story window.
Died from blood loss.
Yeah. So that was a great kill too. Even though you don't really see it, I mean, just seeing the aftermath, it's like, that's great. So as Billy's going to leave, though, the little kid comes out and sees Santa Claus. And Billy, this is a tense moment, too, because you're like, is this guy going to fucking kill this kid? And asks the little girl if she's been naughty. And he's pulling out a fucking box cutter. And he ends up fucking giving the girl the box cutter because she said that she's been good all year.
Like, that's her gift for being good. Here, I think I'm Santa, but I don't have any real presents because I'm only here to punish people. So here, I'm going to give this gift to you so you can go punish people.
Right. So at this point, you've got the cops now searching for Billy because obviously they found the bodies at the toy store and all that. So you see the next scene is like Santa sneaking into a little girl's room. You find out it's the girl's father, and these idiot cops are thinking they just bust in this family's house. They go upstairs.
Well, I mean, they saw Santa. They're looking for a crazy Santa Claus breaking into houses. They see a Santa Claus breaking into a house. They can't like wait for confirmation because someone might be about to die. That's probable cause to go into the house.
Right. But at the same time, the way that they handled it, it's. And
oh
the
yeah,
way they
no, they were
the
absolute idiots.
Yeah,
100%. But I'm just saying, I would have checked it out too.
Right. Because they're pointing guns at this father and his daughter. I think is what it was.
Yeah, no, the guns didn't need to come out.
No, definitely not. But that was good. And then you see Billy walking along the road and sneaks down into the fucking ditch because cops are coming by. And, then you got the scene with the sledding, the two kids sledding.
See, I personally, as an adult now, I have an issue with him hiding from the cops. Because in Billy's mind, he's not doing anything wrong, so why is he hiding?
No, I agree.
I didn't like that, but I didn't pick up on that. Obviously, when I was a kid, I didn't pick up on that at all.
Yeah. But I just watched this, and I'm drawing a blank of what happens next now. It's so bad.
Next, he's going to the orphanage, right?
That's right. It goes to the orphanage now. Yeah. I forget that this movie isn't that long. So, yeah, so basically the big climax ends up happening at the orphanage, and he shows up as Santa, of course. Mm-hmm. And things get bloody, and, his little brother's there, because we didn't mention that in the beginning, he's got a little brother named Ricky.
Yeah, it was a baby in the back of the car.
Yep, was a baby in the back of the car when his parents died, and then he's in the orphanage with Billy. And basically, Billy gets his finally, when the cops catch up to him, and obviously Ricky's there and sees this all happen, and that kind of sets up, for the sequels and whatnot, with Ricky being the killer, which that's a whole other discussion altogether. But yeah, this movie is definitely one to watch every year for myself.
Yeah, if you're looking for a good theme for Christmas or themed Christmas movie that's horror, you'll never go wrong with any of these movies, in my opinion.
Right.
The first one is my favorite, but the other ones are not any better or worse. They're all great movies.
Yep.
This is a great staple if you're looking for a way to continue the Halloween spirit into the Christmas season and try to mold them two together. I think they go together great. Horror is amazing. Blood splatter in the snow is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I just love it.
I agree 100%. And yeah, this movie... So if we were to rate this, because I know Black Christmas, I gave it a 5 out of 5. See, Black Christmas is my favorite Christmas horror movie. This one is a close second. With this one, I would probably give it a 4.5 out of 5. But that's just because I like Black Christmas so much more, and that's just more of my taste with the Christmas horror movies. I don't know. I absolutely love this movie. No doubt. It's just, if we're rating it based off of that, it'd get a little bit lower than Black Christmas for me.
I think the reason why we differ on that is I was an adult first time I saw Black Christmas. I didn't really grow up with it.
Yeah.
And so for years, this was the only Christmas horror movie that I knew, period.
Okay.
And I love it. For me, it is 100% 5 out of 5. It is my favorite. But that doesn't, like I said, don't take away from Black Christmas. I gave it a 4 out of 5, but in my eye, 4 out of 5 is still a plus rating. It's a great movie.
Oh, definitely. I agree 100%.
But I mean, you had the gore, which I'm a total gore horror. I don't care how stupid the movie is. If the effects are great, I will love it. I will enjoy every bit of it.
Yep.
And it was all there. And I was prepubescent and had Linnea Quigley that caters to that part of my growing child boyhood.
Yep.
Titties hanging on the wall, man.
There you go.
So for me, 100% 5 out of 5.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great movie. If you haven't checked it out, this is between Black Christmas and this movie. these are probably the best that you could probably find for Christmas themed horror movies. And I'm sure as things keep growing horror wise, I'm sure we'll get more, and maybe there'll be something that surpasses these.
Well, there are a ton of budget indie movies that are great.
Oh,
You just
definitely.
gotta weed through the crappy ones to get to them.
Exactly. And so, with that, that's what we rated for Silent Night, Deadly Night. So 4.5 out of 5 and a 5 out of 5. So let's take a look at another 80s Santa serial killer movie. Now, this one actually came out 4 years before Silent Night, Deadly Night. We're going to be taking a look at 1980's Christmas Evil.
I told you he'd be happy that we remembered him.
This Christmas, Santa's going to make everyone happy. The grown-ups and the kids. Christmas Evil. The non-believers
Watch out!
and the screamers. And this Christmas, you better believe in Santa, or he'll slay you.
Merry Christmas, Frank.
Christmas Evil, the night he dropped in.
So, Christmas Evil. Now, I know, Mark, that you haven't seen this, so this is going to be both kind of a review as well as kind of a teaching thing or something like that.
I mean, I don't know how this movie went under my radar for so long. I mean, I've heard of it, obviously.
Right.
I've seen it on Amazon one time. I just never turned it on.
Yeah.
I should have watched it this week, but I didn't. I was busy as hell.
Understandable. So we'll talk a little bit about why this is a good choice for a horror movie. And yeah, so let's just start off with some quick facts regarding the movie. So this movie was released in November of 1980. It had an estimated budget of $850,000. The original title for this movie, which actually shows up in the opening credits, is You Better Watch Out. Now, this was directed by Lewis Jackson. It starred Brandon Maggart, Jeffrey DeMunn, and Diane Hull. This, kind of the basic story regarding this movie is a toy factory worker mentally scarred as a child upon learning Santa Claus is not real, suffers a nervous breakdown after being belittled at work, and embarks on a Yuletide killing spree. So, a little bit of trivia regarding this movie. So, there's a scene in this movie where Harry, he's the main character serial killer, he slips on the street as he's running away from a mob towards the end of the movie. When that happened, that was actually a real slip of him slipping, and the director decided to leave it in the film because he thought it worked well with kind of him just frantically trying to get away.
I love shit like that in movies, man.
Yes, especially when it's accidental, but it ends up being so
accident.
much. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so good. Now, with this movie, because this, I'll be very, very upfront with this movie. This movie's a little weird. And it's understandable knowing that the director and writer, Lewis Jackson, actually came up with the idea for this film after getting high in the middle of the 70s and seeing a vision of Santa Claus holding a knife. So you got this.
That's how the best ideas come to be, man.
Exactly. So you got a pothead that made this movie, and it shows, and it's good because it's so quirky, it's so weird that it works. John Waters actually recommends this as his favorite Thanksgiving / Christmas themed movie. So another reason why it's good to point out that this movie is very quirky. I mean, if John Waters loves it, you know it's going to be interesting. So, last two pieces of information is Kathleen Turner actually turned down the role of Harry's sister-in-law in this movie.
Ooh.
And then writer-director Lewis Jackson spent several years collecting all of the Yuletide props that are in Harry's house. And he has a fuck ton of like props and dolls and everything Christmas related. It's a lot. So to know that he collected that shit for years to kind of get ready for this movie is kind of cool. So, but yeah, so this movie is definitely, it's not going to be for everybody. I'm going to be honest right now, but I love it so much because it's so weird. So right away, you start off this movie and it's basically Harry and his brother as their kids. So it's kind of another thing where you have these two brothers and one of them ends up being a serial killer. But basically it's Christmas night and you've got Santa, so it's their father dressed up as Santa Claus, you know, putting toys under the trees, eating the cookies, drinking the milk and all that, you know, and then he sees, you know, little Harry starts laughing because Santa is there, and the dad looks over, winks at him and whatnot, just to kind of let him know that, hey, I'm here. And so Santa, it's weird because like when Santa comes into the scene, he actually drops through the chimney. And then when he leaves, he goes back up, like just gets sucked up into the chimney. So it's fucking weird like that. It's weird stuff like that make this movie just that great.
I love it.
So you see the mother and the two sons on the stairs, and this is kind of weird, but all of a sudden they just disappear before the title comes in. Like you see the shot of them sitting on the stairs, and then they just disappear, and it's just the stairs empty. It's fucking weird, but it's so like cheesy and good. It's great. So you get the title of, you know, Christmas Evil and all that, or that comes actually after this. So the kids are in bed, and Mama and Santa are downstairs, you know, playing Mama Kiss Santa Claus. And, you know, she's getting felt up. So little Harry goes back downstairs to, you know, see what was going on, and sees Mommy kissing Santa Claus and getting felt up. And that's when he finds out basically that it's his dad, and it just totally fucks with him. So he goes up in the attic, and he's got these snow globes, breaks this fucking snow globe, and this kid goes fucking just completely emo and just like slashes his hand open, and just blood just drops onto the snow globe. It's kind of like weird, but, you know, whatever. So then we flash forward, you know, Harry's now an adult. He's working in this toy factory and all that, and that's going to come into play here. So we start off, and he's waking up, and this is right before Thanksgiving, which is why John Waters likes it as a Thanksgiving and Christmas movie. So they're getting ready for the busiest time of the year, and he wakes up, he's wearing this fucking Santa Claus themed pajamas. So he's got like the Santa hat, full red pajamas, and his alarm is like Christmas music, and that's when you pan throughout the whole apartment and see just everything is just Christmas related. And so he gets ready for work and all that, and goes to work, and then you meet his coworkers, and so, like I said, it's this toy factory. They make these shitty-ass toys, and they are really shitty toys. And, you know, Harry gets talked into working this other... So Harry actually just recently got a promotion in this movie. And so he's no longer working on the assembly line for these toys. And so everybody's kind of already hates him because he's weird, but then they just hate him that much more because he got a promotion at this company, while the rest of them are kind of stuck in their positions. And very unionized kind of feel and all that. And so one of the guys actually tricks Harry into working for him back on the line so that he can go out and get drunk with the coworkers, even though he says he needs it because him and his wife are leaving early for the holidays. And Harry ends up, you know, seeing that, and that makes him upset and whatnot and all that. So he already hates this guy, Frank, right from the get-go because of him basically making him work for him. So you get into some really weird shit with this movie because like almost pedophile-ish kind of stuff, because this dude is not right already, but then he's acting basically as Santa, so he's already kind of got it in his head that he's going to be Santa Claus. Like throughout the year he's making this Santa suit, but then he's also got these 2 books, one for the naughty boys and girls and one for the good boys and girls. So he's like spying on the neighborhood kids to see who's being good and who's being naughty. So he's got these binoculars looking in these kids' fucking bedrooms. And yeah, just creepy shit like that. So he's not right in the head already. And so all these kids are being good, and then he comes to the one that's being naughty. He's got a fucking Penthouse magazine cutting out like the centerfold from the Penthouse. He's like, naughty. And so he's saying the kid's name, over and over as he runs. Because he goes on top of his apartment building to spy into these kids' bedrooms and kind of watch them as they're taking out the trash or playing with their dolls and all this other stuff. So he runs down the stairs of his, apartment complex, just yelling out the kid's name who's being naughty, pulls out his book, turns to the page, because he keeps notes on all these kids of what they've done, either good or bad. And ends up, writing in, impure thoughts and all this other stuff about this kid and all that. So you can see that he's really kind of creepy in him keeping notes on all these kids and all that. And that's going to come into play later. So you got his family. So you've got his brother. So when his brother and him were kids, because this, going back to the first scene of the movie, his brother talks about how Santa isn't real, basically. And that's what kind of causes Harry to go downstairs to see Santa again, because he says that he is real. And so that kind of plays into the movie too later on. So back in where we are now, and with adult Harry and whatnot. So he's supposed to be going over to his brother's house for Thanksgiving. And they have the Thanksgiving Day parade going on and whatnot, and he sees Santa, and he decides he's not going to go. And his brother's already freaking out because he doesn't want his brother to come over, because he basically hates his brother for the most part, because he feels like his brother kind of not really held him back, but just because of his issues, his mental issues and whatnot, kind of just made things more difficult for him in a way. So he kind of already hates him because of that. So they get into it kind of over the phone, and he's upset now that his brother isn't coming to Thanksgiving after kind of getting things ready, and things are kind of tense between Harry's brother and his wife and all that. And so that kind of plays out a little bit in the movie. So things kind of keep going, and he's like slowly descending more and more into madness. He keeps spying on the one kid who's like really naughty with, the Penthouse kid. And it's like keeps escalating, and finally it gets to Christmas, because it's around Christmas time is when things kind of really start going downhill, because they have a Christmas party, and the guy that made Harry basically work for him is kind of a dickhead the whole time. And then you got this new corporate clown who's coming in and wants to do all this stuff, and like they're supposed to be doing these donations for this orphanage or hospital or whatever for children for the holidays, and Harry wants to do more and whatnot, and he's really kind of losing it and everything. And so he ends up leaving the party and all that, and Christmas Eve happens, and he gets all dressed up, and he actually brings a van full of toys and presents to the hospital. He actually steals them from the factory that he works at. So he steals all these gifts and whatnot, or I think some of them were donations, but I think he brought more than what they originally were going to do. And he's got his whole Santa getup on now. So he's got the beard, he's got his whole suit that he made, and he brings all these gifts to the hospital for the children. He has all the workers come out and grab all the stuff and bring it in. On top of that, he starts delivering to the neighborhood kids in his neighborhood, all the toys and whatnot, for the ones that were good, and he like got bags of dirt and stuff and left shit for the kids that were naughty. So he's gone full batshit crazy now, and what happens is he shows up at the midnight mass where like these executives are going to be for the his work, and he's waiting outside for them to come out and whatnot, and he's looking for them. Well, these drunk parishioners are coming up to him, or young parishioners, or whatever the case may be, but basically they're harassing the guy as he's sitting there looking for the people from his work. Well, at that point, he's had enough. He pulls out a fucking like nutcracker with a fucking knife toy, stabs one guy right in the fucking eye, pulls out a hatchet, like a toy hatchet, but it's like a real hatchet, starts hacking the shit out of people.
Like the Child's Play hammer?
Yes, kind of like that. So he hacks the shit out of 4 people. They're dead. He jumps back in his van and just fucking takes off. And I probably should also mention, he paints his van to look like Santa's sleigh. So he paints the side of his white van to look like Santa's sleigh. So it's like Santa delivering gifts and whatnot. So
that's awesome.
So that's great. So kind of going on from there. Then you have Santa showing up at Frank's house, so the guy that he hates from his work. So he sneaks in, he leaves gifts for Frank's children. He goes up to Frank and his wife's room, and Frank and his wife are sleeping. He wakes Frank up and says, "Merry Christmas, Frank," takes his fucking sack of toys and just starts smothering him with this bag. And he's struggling, and the wife is starting to wake up, and he's got to think fast. Well, they got a Christmas tree in the bedroom. He grabs the star off the top of the Christmas tree and slices his fucking neck open. And he just flips over on his wife. And she's like silent screaming because she's just so like out of it, and then all of a sudden this is happening. So he freaks out and he leaves, and all the while the kids do see Santa kind of going about, and they try sneaking out at first. So he's trying to get out the door, and they see Santa again, and he's trying to act like Santa. And then she screams, and he just bolts out the door, gets in the van, and fucking takes off again. So then you have him showing up at this party. There's some group of people doing a holiday party, and then they invite him in because he's just sitting there looking through the window, just kind of bobbing his head to the music. So they pull him in, because they think it'd be great to have Santa at the party, and they bring him in reluctantly. That he goes in, and then they have a whole party scene with him and whatnot, and he tells the children to not be naughty, because if you're naughty, basically you'll be punished, kind of thing. And it's kind of awkward and kind of like ominous, and then he just starts laughing, and everybody starts laughing. So he's dancing with the kids and the adults, and then he ends up fucking leaving. So this is all the while that, word's starting to get out about this crazy Santa that's killing people. And so you got these group of people that know that he's out and about now. And these children end up running up to him because it's Santa Claus. And these group of parents are walking behind these children, and they see him. And they know that he's the one, because at this point his suit and everything is starting to get dirty, his beard is getting dirty, and they know something's off. So they try to get the children away from Santa, but the children actually try to protect Santa, so they're protecting the psychopath basically. And one of the dads pulls out a knife, and then he ends up dropping the knife, and the girl picks it up, like his daughter picks it up and gives it to Santa Claus. And so then he runs away. And then you get the whole mob scene going on where like everybody's lighting torches and everything and starting to chase him. So you got like a whole like town chasing this fucking Santa Claus throughout the streets and whatnot. And, he finally gets in his van and takes off. And so then we go back to seeing, his brother again and his family, And, things are on the news, and his brother's got a hunch that it's probably him. So that happens. He ends up going to his brother and whatnot, and his brother freaks out because, like, what have you done? Yada, yada, yada. And it's heartbreaking. Then he's, like, strangling Harry. He's like, you're blaming me for something I said when I was 6 years old, because he brings up the fact that he said, that Santa wasn't real, and that he blames basically him for his whole downfall and all that. So he's strangling him and thinks he kills him, and he drags his body, Harry's body, back outside to put it back into his van and whatnot, because he doesn't know what else to do. Well, Harry ends up coming to and fucking just knocks his brother out and just fucking takes off. And then kind of the end of the movie is him coming up against the mob again. The mob are coming out after him. He takes a turn, fucking flies, and his brother's chasing him now, trying to get him to stop. Well, he flies off the side of the road, and it's kind of, because it's like the end of the like the story, a Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night kind of thing. Almost like Santa's sleigh is like flying through the air. Well, his fucking van flies off the side of the road, and it's just like flying through the air. It's like such a weird fucking ending, and it's so like a pothead kind of wrote it kind of thing. It's great. Overall, this movie is definitely one you should check out if you haven't seen it, just for the quirkiness of it. Honestly, if I were to rate this one, it's probably going to be like a 3.5 out of 5. It's not the greatest movie, but if you like weird shit like I do, it's well worth the watch.
Yeah, it definitely sounds interesting to me. I'll probably watch it this week, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know about tomorrow, but I'll watch it sometime.
Right. Because I know they got it on YouTube for free. I mean, because everywhere else you got to have like Showtime or something like that to be able to watch it. Because it used to be on Shudder, and I didn't find it on Shudder. It may be on there, but I couldn't find it. But I ended up watching it through YouTube, and the YouTube has got it a little cut up. But that was just the one I just picked the first one I saw. There was another one that was a little longer, which I think was the regular one, but that's how I ended up watching it. So it's definitely out there where you can watch it. I'm waiting for my Blu-ray of it to come, though, from Vinegar Syndrome, like I was saying earlier, because I want to see it restored, and I'm looking forward to be able to watch it one more time before Christmas, that's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll probably have to catch it on Amazon or something, but
yeah,
I'm definitely going to watch it, and I'm going to keep my eye out for more less known budget Christmas movies. Maybe
definitely
talk about them on the show, because there are some gems out there. I mean,
yeah.
The ones that I mentioned, they're definitely stupid fucking movies. They're dumb as hell, but I love those movies.
Right. I agree 100%. But yeah, so that's kind of our 2 reviews of these 2 movies. Well, my review of Christmas Evil, and then our review of Silent Night, Deadly Night. But we would love to know what you guys think. Did you give
it a rate? I didn't hear if you rated it.
Yeah, 3.5 out of 5 is what I rated it.
I just completely spaced that.
That's all right. That's all right. It's been a long episode. I mean, we're almost at 2 hours, so
yeah,
it's not a bad thing. Yeah, we went a long time. I kind of rambled there a little bit with Christmas Evil, but that's all right. That's all good. I don't mind doing that every once in a while, but
yeah.
But yeah, if you guys haven't checked this out, feel free to check these movies out. Let us know what you think, or if you got anything that you guys want us to check out. As always, you can reach out to us through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All of them are at CLS Podcast. But yeah, we're getting closer to Christmas and New Year's. I'm looking forward, especially to New Year's, because I love New Year's Evil. But maybe we'll do something regarding that once we get closer to that. So. But yeah, otherwise, until next time, we do appreciate you guys checking out the podcast, and we will check you all next time.
Thanks for joining us today for the CLS Podcast. Check us out at www.clspodcast.com or join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag CLS Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, campers.